about to give you all a six. It's the penultimate show of the day, and the event of the first ever flip here at Moda. So we are about to kick off with the Animal Bike Tour. We're about to deliver another one of our shows. This is a show that we take all over the country, and indeed the world as well. Martin has been as far away as Asia. We were set off this show. Last year we went over to Sweden. Went over to Ireland as well. But humble beginnings for the Animal Bike Tour. It started 10 years ago, and the idea was born between Martin Ashton, the star of the show, one of the stars of the show, and Animal, their stand you're in right now. And it started off with a few crate pallets, and Martin doing some trials demonstrations. Over the course of the last 10 years, with the continued support of Animal, it's grown into what you see before you now. A show with over 65 days on the road throughout the summer months, dedicated, world's best athletes. We've got tour manager, MC, and we get to go to some pretty awesome events this year. Goodwood Festival of Speed. We got invited along to be part of the Gas Arena, Goodwood Action Sports Arena. We got to go over to the Formula 1, the British Grand Prix. That was pretty cool. Blistering noise. Oh my word. I don't know if you've ever been sick out of your ears, but that's pretty much what it feels like being 10 feet of a Formula 1 car. But as well as doing big events like that with thousands of people, we also stay true to our grassroots. What are you doing there, Martin? I've not seen that before, Michael. That's us. Went and met her earlier. Gave me a cup of coffee. So as well as taking this show to really big music events and festivals, representing Animal in front of thousands of people, we also take this show into town centres, shopping centres, city centres, and usually within the catchment area of where there is an animal retail outlet or an actual animal store. We'll take this show on the road. It folds down really easily. All the metalwork packs down into the 2 vans and the 2 trailers, and we drive it around ourselves. And as a team, we can set it up in about an hour. We're going to be breaking down after the next show. We're actually going to time ourselves, so if you're interested in watching that, the real show happens, the big old pack down. But it's very quick and easy to set up, and we can fit it into some tight spaces, so it means that we can really get close to Definitely ready! I knew she was going to be trouble. You are definitely the loudest person. I'm giving you an Animal wallet right in the face. I'm like a ninja with freebies. Not Death Stars, it's like Love Stars. I'm going to start off the show by doing some introductions. And first of all, we've got this guy over here, who is not only a twice Guinness World Record breaker, but also a World Championship winning trials rider, and 3-time Blue Beater badge winner. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Mr. Martin Ashton. So Ashton dropping in. He's been with the show since the very beginning. The idea was come up between him and Animal, and now it has been running in 10 years and grown into what you see before you now. This guy's been riding professionally for over 20 years. He's won the world champ, numerous times British champion. He's even written books about mountain biking, and from there he sparked off a whole new style of mountain biking known as street trials, adding the freestyle element to it. So ladies and gentlemen, godfather of UK trials, Mr. Martin Ashton. The next guy that I would like to introduce is all over here. He hails all the way from Zimbabwe. He's a relatively recent addition to the show because in the 10 years this show has evolved and grown. And the addition of a dirt jumper is a relatively recent thing. We've had loads of amazing riders on the show, but we've settled on this guy because he's absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, 3-time King of Dirt, Mr. Blake Sampson. Woo! Do it, Blake. Take us there. He started off with a knack, that's like a one-footer. Now here's a little story about how he changed the life of a young boy from Zimbabwe. He came over to the country, never ridden mountain bikes before. He watched this show with Grant Shopper Fieldo, I think caught him the one-hand, one-footer right there. Watched the show, he was so inspired that he went and bought a mountain bike, started competing, got picked up by Animal, and now he stars in the show that originally inspired him to get into it. So let's give a nice Mr. Blake Sampson, if we could, a round of applause. Now the next guy we've got in the show, last but definitely not least, he is the most recent addition to the show. He's been with us about a year now. We think he's absolutely fantastic, and we hope you guys do too. He's not got a bicycle, and he's the only one who doesn't have one, but he's pretty good at the old gymnastics. Can we give a big round of applause to Mr. Luke Madigan? Just 18 years of age. We found him in a gym covered in lycra doing gymnastics, and we said no. We ripped all the lycra off him, covered him in baggy clothes and put him in the streets. It's known as free running or parkour in the game, and this is one of the nation's best talents. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Luke Madigan, aka, what was it? Luggage Trick Man. It's traditional for free runners to have nicknames, so we're constantly coming up with new ones. So the introductions are complete, the circle of awesome is open to interpretation. The first guy we're going to be attracting our attention towards is this guy here, Martin Ashton, who's going to be taking us on a journey through the ladder. Now this is a good start to the show because it's a good introduction to what trials riding is. Predominantly a very strict style of mountain biking where you would go from point A to point B over very difficult terrain, lots of obstacles like this. You'd have to go as fast as you can, but if you put your feet down, you get penalties. So Martin's very proficient in this style of mountain biking. He's been doing it a long time, and he had no trouble in making his way through the ladder. You can see a lot of upper body strength needed, and Martin predominantly in the gym through the winter months, greeted by an applause as he reaches his pedestal back at the top of the ladder. Now, in for the lateral descent. Now, like I say, Martin sparked the movement of street trials with Danny McCaskill and the like, and here adding the freestyle element to the end of the ladder. You see with the 270 out, Martin has conquered the ladder. Blake Sampson can't contain himself and has to drop in. And pedaling hard, that is the touch no-hander from Blake Sampson, the Zimbabwean #1 dirt jumper and animal athlete in the show. He's normally travelling the world competing, so very lucky to have him dedicated to our show. That is 2 tricks in 1. No footer over to the Indian Air. Now he is carrying the baton and he's passing it over to Luke Madigan over there, who's dropping in. Check this out. Swan dive to front flip. This guy is literally a non-lethal ninja. Big old front flip down off the ladder. If we can deliver that guy a round of applause. Now, by now, we've kind of figured out what all the different athletes do in the show. And now we concentrate a little bit on Martin, because one of the key skills in the world of trials riding is the ability to bunny hop. And that means lift the bicycle off the floor under your own steam. So it's really important to get up onto different obstacles here in the show, and also in competition as well. So we line the bunny hop bar up at 40 centimetres, and we get a hat ready to give away to the loudest supporter of Martin, because we need a bit of love for him right now. If we could, he's on this small platform. Yes, Martin Ashton is taking us there. Ashtopia. Martin, I tell you what, I think you've got about 50% of the people clapping there. I know it's a tough crowd, That's fine, because that's just feedback for us, and it indicates to me that we need to work harder, and by we, I mean you, Martin, and by harder, I mean higher. Who's the tough guy that did that up? Is that you? I can't even do it with my left hand. So tough, Martin. Stop being so tough all the time. Right. Okay, we'll just go up a little bit. We're just going to over-double it to 90 centimetres. So shouldn't have any problems with this. He's cleared that first one, the potential customer. But this is just one small part of what Animal does. There's obviously these guys are sponsored by Animal, but there's a massive team of action sports athletes representing. And as Animal is a UK-based company, it means they can really concentrate their support on UK athletes. So Alan Stokes is the UK's #1 surfer. He's riding for them. There's a few surfers on the team, BMXers, skateboarders, obviously mountain bikers as well. And then there's the winter sports team, which is freestyle skiing and snowboarding as well. And each of these athletes has influence over the clothing as well. All the winter guys have input into the winter gear. jumpers have influence over the wetsuits as well. So all the R&D is done utilising the team as well. And people are sponsored from top ends like these guys, world-class athletes, all the way down to the younger grommets, the young people coming up in sports. There's a lot of support there as well. So those 6 sports are the core elements of Animal, the 2 winter sports, surfing, skateboarding, BMX and mountain biking as well. But sometimes we have guest stars in the show, we've got one of them with us up here. So the support of Animal not just restricted to those 6 sports, but sometimes venturing out of their realm into the world of free running. Look at these two, back and forth, like a couple of caged pumas, ready to pounce into action. It's like a mountain bike enclosure over here. I think if you were going to create a mountain bike enclosure and keep these two in captivity, this is probably the kind of setup you'd want, bar the obvious lack of a big tractor tyre hanging from a tree. I think these two would be quite happy in this little area. Are you ready, Martin Ashton? He's ready, right. So, as I say, if you have just joined us over here, we're coming along. This is the Animal Bike Tour, a show that we take on the road through the summer months, representing for Animal, taking mountain biking. He was taught by one of the guys at Animal how to ride a bike backwards. Martin, don't try it. Julian's a professional backwards bike rider. Don't try the backwards bike riding.
What do you mean, no sport?
So, as I say, we take the show all over the country representing the Animal brand, and every time we do this show, we put everything we've got into it. Seriously, we work really hard to try and deliver the best entertainment that we can. But the shows that are really good, like I say, we do the same thing every time, but the shows that are really good and euphoric are the shows when everyone else is really into it and creating a bit of an atmosphere for us to feed off. So, to get that going, basically it takes you guys doing a little bit of clapping, a little bit of cheering. I know you're here to do buying, but, you know, just do a little bit of clapping. Let's live our lives and have a little bit of fun. It's a bit of break from the norm. And when you're creating that atmosphere, these guys are happy about it and they work really hard. They go even bigger than they normally would, and you guys get a better show. And it's a bit of give and take, a little bit of back and forth. And I shan't delude you, we've got some freebies to give away, and yes, they could quite possibly be described as bribes in exchange for applause. But either way, it's just a nice thing to do, and we kind of concentrate in the direction of the people who are living their lives the most and loving it. And really seeing skills working in the swing of basic got up here. Moving over to the left of their feet. So check this out, the 418 experience, to turn itself around to get back through those rows. And edging forward, he's got to make the gap back down onto the trailer to continue his journey. There's the big push through. Blake Samson dropping in right behind him. The action almost endless. There's a 360 with a tabletop going in as well. The same trick in the quarter pipe, getting that bike flush to the floor. Blake getting himself ready to drop in once again. Pedaling hard this time. Big old Superman air. The Samsonator. Where we headed is the mad gun. All eyes over to this guy. Right, slipping on that tiny little platform. Not a lot of space up there. Moving over to the balance beam. If this guy challenges you to a game of it, do not accept, you will definitely lose. We only saw this for the first time yesterday. Looking for new lines. This is a right flip gap down onto the trailer. Setting right up for the gainer. Running forwards and delivering the backflip. So now we move over to Martin. He's going to be following the same footsteps as Luke over by the balance beam. If you just joined us, if you do a round of applause for Martin, I think we're going to have to leave it up to Blake to